So just like Pep Guardiola said, he said before the games before the international break were the pre-season games. The league has just now started for Manchester City, and they started it off with a win. These are the kind of things he says that scares other managers. What do you mean by those were pre-season games? Anyway, Man City winning again, Haaland doing his thing.
It was expected, especially playing at home. You expect them to go all out to beat Brentford. But I think that, when Brentford took the lead, the question would be like, how are they going to come back? But I think that this is a side that they have top class players. And you expect Erling Haaland to come to the party once again. And I think that he scored. And grabbing a brace, like you said, he almost scored, third hat-trick in 3 successive games. It's amazing. Look at his numbers and what he's doing for this team, and I think that is very surprising. And I think, Ben, on yesterday, after the game, I was asking myself, how is Pep Guardiola able to keep these players, hungry?
Yep.
Because winning the league, whatever they are aiming, the biggest target for Manchester City was to win the Champions League. Yep. They have been able to do it. Last season, unfortunately, they got eliminated by Real Madrid at the semis, and then Real Madrid went on to. But then, they come back the same season. It seems they are still hungry for more.
Yeah, I think it's something Ferguson used to do with the Manchester United teams those times.
Exactly.
Keep the team motivated consistently.
It's the most difficult thing to
Very
do
difficult,
for City at this point.
Exactly.
Because guys become overdosed with success. I don't know if there's anything even like that, like an overdose of success. But
exactly.
That's what's going on. I watched a little documentary just to even answer what you were saying. So he said, right, when the season started, and I think that's something a lot of big managers can learn from. They have a vision board. So before the season starts,
have to drum it in.
Good. He will open the season with a speech about how they need to do certain things to get to their objectives,
records,
and then he just like you're saying, he says that the outside world feel like we've won too much, so we are tired of success. But he says that there's nothing like being tired of success. You can never ever get tired of winning. Winning is always better than losing. Yeah, I'd rather be the guy with the medal around my neck smiling than the guy shedding tears and needing to be consoled. And so he always tells them that, well, this is it. We are the ones with the target on our back. And so we need to go out there and prove our enemies wrong. And sometimes they find little things to make their motivations. I think they used Arsenal as a bit of a motivation last season. These guys want what we have. We'll go out there and do it. This season, they are going to do the same thing. But I think it's a lot more difficult when you don't have new players. When it's like same batch of players all the time.
And Ben, if you've noticed, they are doing it without Rodri. Who has been the best player for this Manchester City. And so it tells you that for me, I think that's why probably Pep Guardiola is probably...
Even Foden has not been in the mix for them.
In the mix, exactly. I think that's why people rate Pep Guardiola as one of the best, greatest managers of all time.
He knows how to keep performance levels at a peak, regardless of who's playing.
And so for me, I think that going down against Brentford, it was always going to come back to their quality. And I think that for Erling Haaland, I also think that throughout the whole summer, he didn't play any game. Whilst his folks were playing the Euros and other side, he had a lot of time to work on himself to join the team for preseason. And then look at the form. He didn't really start the preseason very well, but I think at the latter part of it, he started, scoring goals for Manchester City. And then he's carried the same form into the season itself. And like you said, if the Premier League has started properly, he almost scored a hat-trick. And so for me, I think that Manchester City, listen, it's the title is theirs to lose, honestly. I think that they have a lot of enormous quality. They have a better manager. And I think, any side that they come up against them, they'll be thinking, how do we stop this Manchester City team? Because they are too good, honestly. And so for a win against, Brentford doesn't seem to be, a major news, but because we know what they can do on any day. I'm
disappointed in Brentford because if you watch the game, first 30 minutes, they could have been up by 3-0. Before Manchester City got going and got a foothold in the game. Just quick thoughts on the game itself before moving on to the next one.
Like you said, because I watched that first 20 minutes. They had control in the first half. In the first 20 minutes where they had a few chances where they could have. And the thing is about, if you meet a team like City, you have your moments because of the way they play. So if you don't maximize those moments, they're going to be in trouble because they'll always come back and hunt you.
True.
And it happened. Brentford could have scored more in the first half. After scoring that goal, they could have had a chance to score another one, but they didn't. But you see, the thing about this Manchester team is that you mentioned the fact that Pep has a way of motivating the team, but what they also have in abundance is experience.
They do.
And that is what they have. These players have won this thing consistently, and they know how to manage the games. Even if I backtrack to the West Ham game, there were moments where they knew when to take the sting out of the game, when they had to change the momentum of the game, where the tempo had to drop. You could just see it, and Guardiola wasn't talking a lot.
Those things are so important.
Exactly, and you see, and those are things that you get used to them the more you do it. And because they've been in such situations several times, they know how to manage such games when they get into those moments. Because if you backtrack to West Ham, the game where they were leading 2-1, West Ham was trying to get into the game. They just took their leg off the pitch, just calmed the game down, and just looking for the third goal, and that's what they did. So they know that there are moments in games where they'll be vulnerable, but they know how to manage those moments. And I think that Pep Guardiola will be sitting there and say, yes, he feels he'll be much more relaxed now, because at this point, all he has to do is try to motivate the guys. But you know that certain things that comparing now to 3 years ago, 4 years ago, he doesn't need to be doing as much. So because the guys are used to the way he coaches.
And there's something about championship DNA. We talk about it especially in basketball, but in football, they say that there's nothing like winning a title. When a player has won a title, look, you can never take that experience away from them. They become almost, how do I say it, numb or cold to adversity. So go down, go to Brentford. Another team will panic and say, wow, we are down by a goal. All of a sudden you are in 6s and 7s. But Manchester City, they're like, you know what, business as usual. We've seen this before, we'll turn it around. It's just Brentford. And so that's what happens really. When you are a champion, you act like a champion. That's just how Manchester City play the game. Let's get to